Hi lovelies, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Janera, and today I'm going to be reviewing Danessa Myricks' new Yummy Skin Blurring Balm Powder as well as her Serum Foundation. So if you're interested in seeing the application, review, and 10-hour wear test of these products, then keep on watching. Alright, so I already prepped my face with my Beekman 1802 lotion. So next I'm just going to use 2 pumps of my Fenty Instant Retouch Primer. Alright, so next I'll be using the Yummy Skin Blurring Balm Powder. I'll be using it as a primer under my foundation. It does come with a little spatula so that you don't have to put your fingers in there, which is super nice. I did pick up shade 8, and this is for dark skin with golden undertones. This is what this shade looks like. So for the consistency of this balm powder, it is super oily. It's very similar to the Yummy Skin Serum Foundation, so I'm really interested to see how this will work with oily skin. And it does say that this is a texture reducing, coverage boosting blurring balm that balances oils throughout the day while maintaining hydration. It's supposed to have light coverage with a natural finish, has a cream formula, and it has Upsolite, olive-derived squalene, hyaluronic acid, and retails for $36. So I want to see if this balm powder can be used as a tinted moisturizer, which is why I'm going to use it under my foundation. I'll be using my beauty blender to put it on the right side of my face, and then I'll use my Morphe M439 to put it on the left. And I'm going to be using the spatula to pick up the product. I think it's really nice that that's included. I'm just going to use about this much just to start off. I'll see if I want to build it up later. I'm going to put on the back of my hand and just kind of like break this up just so that it will be easier to apply. I'm gonna use a little bit more. I'm gonna put some on my sponge first. Let me get closer to show you the texture. My skin on this side is a lot more red, and then on this side it just looks a lot more even. But let me go ahead and add it to the other side. I'm gonna use my brush to apply it. Yeah, I really like this balm powder on my skin. I think it's a perfect shade match. I do like the finish a lot more on the left side. I think that the brush really applies it very evenly, and then the beauty blender I think just like absorbs some of the product. So I think going forward I would definitely just use the brush. So I'm just gonna add a little bit more to this side and then use the brush. As you can see, this would definitely be a good product to use as a tinted moisturizer. This is probably my favorite one so far, to be honest. I just think it has like a little more coverage, but then it also just like evens out the skin a lot more. Like I don't see any of the redness in my skin, even though this is a pretty sheer product. I want to see next what happens when I apply the foundation on top. So for my foundation, I'll be using the Yummy Skin Serum Foundation. This is the shade 17W, and I'm gonna swatch it for you guys. When I first tested out this shade, it seemed a little too deep for me, but I feel like it could work, so I'm just gonna try it out. So this is the swatch for the 17W. And then it does say that this is a skincare hybrid foundation with medium buildable coverage that effortlessly creates a natural looking skin-like glow. It's supposed to have a radiant finish. And then it has jojoba oil, hyaluronic acid, and olive-derived squalene. I'm not too sure how I feel about the jojoba oil being a part of this formula just because I do have oily skin. So having oil in the foundation, you know, let's just see what happens. She does say to use a pea-sized amount. She said a little goes a long way, so we'll see. Alright, so this is the finish of the foundation. Honestly, I think that this balm powder makes a really nice base for the foundation. Like my skin is just glowing. Like I really like this finish. And honestly, this balm powder looks really nice on its own. Like as it's settled, like I think it has a really nice glow to it as well. I think the balm powder is perfect for everyday wear, and then for special occasions, this medium coverage is really nice. But let me go ahead and add another pump to the other side. Alright, so a couple of things about this foundation. It does have a very nice finish and a really nice glow, but it does have a strong scent. So if you're very sensitive to scents, you know, you might want to like double check that you're okay with it before purchasing. And then one thing I don't like about this foundation is the consistency. Like it just feels very thick and greasy on the skin. It doesn't look greasy, but it definitely does feel super thick. Alright, so next I'm going to apply my concealer. First, I'm going to use the Makeup Forever in shade 14 Full Coverage Concealer. And then on top, I'll be using the Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. And then in this Born This Way concealer, I have the shade Butterscotch. And then I use this Too Faced concealer to highlight. Alright, so next I'm going to use my setting powder from Laura Mercier. This is the shade Translucent Medium Deep. I'll be using this beauty blender to put it under my eyes, and then I'll use my IT Cosmetics brush number 114 to put it all over my face. To contour, I'll be using my One Size Beauty Made for Shade Bronze and Sculpt Trio palette in the shade Dark. And then I'll be using my IT Cosmetics brush number 227 to apply this. And then to bronze, I'll be using my Mocha Mommy bronzer from Fenty Beauty. And then I'll be using my Morphe M530 brush to put this on. And then as of right now, my favorite blush to use is from the 3D Blush Trio by One Size Beauty. This is the Berry Gay palette, and I love this powder shade right here. This is like my absolute favorite blush right now. But it's super, super pigmented, so I like to start off very light-handed and then just add more as I go, just so I don't overdo it. And let me actually get closer so I can see how pretty this shade is up close. And this is all that I'm gonna add. It's super easy to get carried away with this product, so I'm just gonna keep it as it is. I'm not even gonna try to build it up. I think that this is enough. And then lastly, for face makeup, I'll be using my Becca Cosmetics highlighter in the shade Topaz. I did drop this palette, but I was able to save some of it. So I'm gonna swatch it for you guys so that you can see this shade. It's kind of hard to see on my hand. Let me see if I put it here. And then to put this on, I'll be using my Morphe M510 brush. Alright, so that is it for face makeup. I'm gonna go off camera and finish my eyebrows, eyeliner, and mascara, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I'm back, and this is the completed makeup look for today. I wanna get closer to show you this finish. At first, I didn't really like how heavy this foundation was feeling on the skin, and now that it's set, I think it has a very pretty natural finish. Also, it makes sense that this Balm powder and this foundation are part of the same line. I feel like both products go really nicely together. I think that the Balm powder would be perfect for everyday wear. I really like it as a tinted moisturizer, and then I really like how you can add coverage by using this Serum foundation on top. I feel like that's perfect for special occasions, and I feel like this Balm powder works really nicely as a base underneath. But yeah, so far, I'm really liking the finish of both products. I'm really excited to see how they hold up throughout this wear test because I do have oily skin and this formula is pretty thick. But yeah, I'll be back in about 10 hours and we'll see how these formulas hold up. All right, I'll see you guys soon. All right, so I'm back with the 10-hour update and I want to get closer to show you how these formulas have held up. Honestly, I think both products held up pretty nicely. I think I misjudged the foundation. As soon as I saw the oily consistency, I just automatically assumed that at the end of the 10-hour wear test, my face would be super oily. But to see how dry it is right now is super impressive. Like, there's no oil in my T-zone. My face is completely dry, which is amazing. I was not expecting that with this foundation. But honestly, for me, because this foundation is super thick and has a lot of coverage, I would probably only use it for special occasions. I don't know if that's because I put the blurring powder underneath, but the blurring powder and the foundation definitely create a full coverage finish, which is very pretty. I just wouldn't do this every day. Also, one thing I want to mention about these foundation shade ranges is that she did a really good job just expanding the shade range. This is the first time where I looked online and I saw like 4 or 5 different shades that I could possibly use. Usually it's like just one or the other, like there's no in between, but there were like 3 or 4 in between shades for me. So I was really happy about that. A little stressed because it was kind of hard to choose a shade, but definitely really happy about that. I ended up going with the 17W, but when I first looked at the swatch, it did look a little too deep. And when I compared it to other foundation shades that I have now, it did look a little deeper than those ones. But after applying it to my skin and adding the rest of the makeup on, I think that this is actually a really good shade match. Like this is probably my perfect match. But overall, I'm pretty impressed by these products. I definitely recommend them for oily and combination skin just because they both have very hydrating formulas and don't make my skin oily. If you have dry skin, I can't really recommend it to you just because I don't have dry skin, but usually people with dry skin tend to really like hydrating formulas, so this just might work for you. But if you guys do decide to check out this blurring balm powder or this serum foundation, please let me know what you think about it in the comments and whether it worked for you or not. Also, if you have any questions about either of these products, please let me know and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you guys for tuning in to another video. If you are new here, welcome, and please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the next video. Bye.